Billions.
Well, there is talk about the Postal Service being taken private. You do know that. Not the worst idea I've ever heard. It really isn't. You know, it's a lot different today with between Amazon and UPS and FedEx and all the things that you didn't have. But there is talk about that. It's an idea that a lot of people have liked for a long time. We're looking at it. I think we're looking at that along with a lot of us.
Republicans love taking any opportunity they have to privatize a public service and make life more difficult for the general public.
Postmaster DeJoy, I know I've only been here 6 years. I've never gotten this many complaints about our Postal Service until you were became in charge. Okay. And trust me, I know our chairman and some other MAGA colleagues are seeing the same thing. Not only are they directly impacted, but our constituents are obviously feeling the same changes. It's really important. This is an important question, and Inspector, I may ask you the same. Can you tell me the total cost of non-compliance with the American Postal Workers and Letter Carriers Union contracts? How much has it cost us in some of the non-compliance actions?
More than it should have, but that's been going
on for a
long. I don't know off the top of my head.
This is Oversight Committee. You got to be. How much? Do you know, Inspector? How much did it cost us, that Postmaster DeJoy's leadership, in non-compliance in union contracts?
I don't know the answer to that, but we are going to be doing an audit into that area upcoming this year.
What is it, like 5 million? What is it?
It's in the millions.
It's in the millions?
But it's been in the millions for a long time.
You know, DeJoy, at the beginning, you know, the postal workers were like, okay, we see what you're going to try to do with this 10-year plan, yes or no? And then they changed their mind because they said, they're not in support of you. I don't know what you were saying. They actually passed a resolution calling for your resignation. Did you know that?
When?
The American Postal Workers, if I may submit it for the record, Mr. Chair, APWU, American Postal Workers Union Convention, adopts a resolution to remove Postmaster General DeJoy, September 16, 2022. Would you like me to get you the resolution, Mr.?
I don't think they renewed that request in their last
meeting. Can I send you this?
You can send it to me. I'm aware.
Who do you think many of us are talking to? We're talking to the workers. We're talking to our neighbors.
And I've talked to the workers also.
Yeah, they said, quote, because of delayed mail and undermined public confidence in the Postal Service, verbatim from that resolution. Postmaster DeJoy, you don't have...
I have 7 unions.
I understand that.
That was one.
But Postmaster DeJoy, we're not making this up. You're making it out like members of Congress. There's too many of us that are telling you the same thing. And honestly, it's not political because guess what? Both Republicans and Democrats are giving you the same stories.
Well, I say Republicans and Democrats are significantly responsible for the condition of the United States Postal Service when I arrived here.
Well, maybe it's because you don't know the answer. Maybe it's because you don't know the answers. We're asking you questions. You don't even know how much in 2024 through the grievance abrasion tracking system. How many complaints have you had in the grievance tracking system? How many? Really important to know. Like how many grievances have been filed under your leadership?
Department. I interact with my unions all the time.
But you can't say they're in support of you. You don't even know how many grievances were filed. I'll leave it at this because thank you, Mr. Chair, for being generous at this time. I called for this hearing, and I told the chairman, this is one area that impacts all of our districts, every corner of our country. Every part of our country is impacted by this, literally, the Postal Service. We got to do better. You are a public servant. You're not in the private sector anymore, Postmaster DeJoy. You have a higher standard. The public relies on you making the right decision. And please, for the love of God,
yes, they do you.
For the love of God, put the universal service obligations in your office. Print it out. That is literally supposed to be your guidance to the standard. Thank you. I yield.
After 3 years, we are a different organization today. We have initiated reforms in nearly every aspect of the Postal Service, including operations, maintenance, logistics, procurement, sales, marketing, technology, products, government relations, communications, and personnel management. We have repurposed approximately 200 facilities, deployed $2.5 billion towards deferred maintenance, hired or repositioned almost 1 million people, relocated or installed over 1,000 conveyor systems, transitioned one of the world's largest air cargo networks, packaged and delivered over 1 billion COVID test kits, and introduced a new multi-billion-dollar product. We did all this while delivering 400 million pieces of mail daily, 6 days a week, to 167 million addresses spread across half the planet under rules, regulations, and processes designed by bureaucrats of the 1970s for a different social and economic America. I am proud of the work we have accomplished, and I'm impressed by the commitment, talent, and tenacity of our people as they work hard to make the Postal Service the best in commerce and public service for many years to come, a unique opportunity we have and as the Congress intended when they created us. What we haven't done, Mr. Chair, is break even. The planned initiatives accomplished did not overcome the rescue and recovery of our operations, the 20% inflation we experienced, as well as the dramatic rise in our mismanaged federal government retirement costs and other compensation benefits. About 90% of our 2023 loss of $6.5 billion was due to this substantial, unplanned, unable to be forecasted increases in our costs in these areas. Nevertheless, under these conditions, we still reduced our projected 10-year losses from approximately $200 billion to slightly under $80 billion. We are now taking additional aggressive actions to further reduce our operating costs by $5 billion annually and grow our revenue an additional $3 billion annually, as identified in my letter to the President and congressional leadership on January 10, 2024.
This is Trump's new Postmaster General, DeJoy. A longtime Republican donor, DeJoy has given over $400,000 to Republicans just this year. Coincidentally, DeJoy and his wife have between $30 and $75 million in assets of direct competitors to the United States Postal Service. That's right, they own the competition. The man Trump put in charge of our post office has the most to gain from its destruction. So why would Trump choose someone like DeJoy to run the post office just 3 months before the election? To cheat millions of Americans out of their right to vote by mail. Trump didn't choose DeJoy to run our post office. He chose DeJoy to destroy it.
For my entire life, Republicans, when they're in power, when they are in the White House, what they do is they staff agencies with people who are fundamentally against those agencies or who are just there to corrupt it, whether they're putting oil barons or coal mining executives to head the Environmental Protection Agency, or people like Mick Mulvaney, who's strictly against the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, to head the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau so that they can say, look, this agency doesn't work. We don't need it. Let's defund it. You know, you got these people, Betsy DeVos. Now we got Linda McMahon coming in to be the Secretary of Education. And Republicans have been trying to get rid of the Department of Education for quite some time. And it's also no wonder that we see people like Jeff Bezos and now Mark Zuckerberg sucking up to Donald Trump because they see which direction the political winds are blowing. And what difference does it make to them if life gets more difficult for the public? If they can continue to monopolize the various industries that they're tycoons over, well, that's just more money for them. That's just more opportunity for them to be benevolent to all of us peasants. So, unfortunately, this is where we are.